Welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of the Bench Mob Ent podcast, the best sports podcast in New Jersey. This is going to be a fun one tonight. This is going to be a fun one tonight. We are currently recording on Wednesday. It is 10:48, which for those that know, when you see this, that means the Knicks won. The Knicks are up 2-0 against the reigning champs, Boston Celtics. I think I know the answer to this question, but I'm gonna ask anyway. Greg and Miles, how y'all doing?
Not as good as Miles, clearly. But I'll tell you, I say this. I'd argue I am doing as well as Miles because I hate Boston. I can't stand them. Everything about it. So I'm so happy that they're getting their tails handed to them, and let's go Knicks. Finish this out.
I'm feeling good too. That goes without saying though.
Hey, on tonight's episode, we'll be talking obviously Knicks Celtics. We'll talk other series, Timberwolves, Warriors. We're going to talk obviously the Cavs, Pacers, what's going on with that. Thunder currently are up by 75. We'll talk about that series a little bit. George Pickens got traded to the Dallas Cowboys. So we're going to give you our reactions to that on both sides of it, Cowboys and Steelers. And we'll do a little MLB check-in. We told y'all we was going to do more MLB this season. We'll probably do a check-in every 30, 40 games because the season is out. There's about 400 games in the regular season, so we'll, in between, casually check up on it. We can't be doing it every week because it's such a long season. So we'll check in right there, talk about MLB, and of course, y'all know how the podcast go. We'll probably touch on a bunch of other things as well within this episode. Before we get started, though, smash that like button, smash it. Let the algorithm know to keep pushing this out, this great content to the masses. Subscribe and share with any and everybody. We're trying to be here for a good time and a long time. I think it's only right that we start off with Knicks Celtics. Knicks are up 2-0, up 2-0 right now on the Celtics. Both games, the Celtics had a 20-point lead. Over these two losses, the Celtics have 75 missed three-pointers. Jayson Tatum is shooting 29% from the field, 25% from three-point on 18.4 points per game. So far, is this more about the Celtics choking or the Knicks capitalizing on the Celtics' bad play?
I think it's a mix. Like the Celtics, they've played great for 75% of the series so far. I mean, they have great players. You got Porzingis, who's a threat from the three-point line. Jaylen Brown's been pretty good. Derek White, I mean, he's a super role player. Like, he's one of the best in the league. They've had two 20-point leads in each game. But for some reason, their philosophy doesn't really change when they're up by that much. You would think maybe they'll go to the cup, run some clock, try to draw some fouls, but they still stay steady with chucking threes and trying to win that way. Well, sure, if we flash back to the opening night, they hit, 29 three-pointers against the Knicks? And this time in the playoffs, it's a little different. They're switching. They're switching on every pick and roll, trying to make things a little more difficult. And defensively, down the stretch, the Knicks really locked in. Like, that's why you make that Mikal Bridges trade, and you trade for a guy like OG. So you had those guys to go against Jaylen Brown, Jayson Tatum. They were brought here for this exact series. So seeing it play out like this in the fourth quarter, like it has, it's good to see. But I think it's a lot more to do with the Celtics beating themselves by just chucking threes and one and done. Like, they're cold for 5 minutes at a time because there's no game plan. It's, pick and roll, kick to the open man or not open man. And if he hits it, great. If he doesn't, it's one and done. And you're like wasting possession. So I'm happy as a Knicks fan that the series has ended up this way, 2-0 to start. It's a great start. It's not over, though. It's playoffs. Anybody can come back from a 2-0 deficit. and this is a great team. But shout out Tibbs, undefeated on the road in the playoffs so far. So,
Do you think, and of course I know you have more on this, but do you think, Greg, that after 2 games, 75 missed threes, is there any possibility that we see the Celtics make adjustments for game 3 regarding their offensive style and their shot diet?
No. They're not going to make any adjustments. They're going to do what they've done all season, what they feel has helped them win a championship as recently as last year. And, you know, they point back to the first game of the year against the Knicks where they made damn near every three they took, and Tatum went 8 from 11 from 3. But that's the thing about basketball where it's at now. And it's not just the Celtics, to be fair. The Celtics are just the most obnoxious example of a team that jacks up threes and tries to play the numbers game. Every team is doing it. And that's why we have so many games where the variance is crazy, where one game might be close, but the next game is a complete blowout because one team can't make any threes at all. And it's just not fun for the consumer. It's not fun for the fan. It's not fun for the person who loves the game of basketball to watch, to sit there and try to digest the game, right? We're not watching that teams really want run sets. We're watching teams drive and kick. And if you're not knocking down those shots, it gets ugly real fast, and it's real ugly to watch, as it is, as Boston fans are realizing and watching right now. But yeah, I don't anticipate them changing their style. I think you may see Jayson Tatum start to drive the ball to the rim a little bit more. I think that might be the adjustment you ultimately end up seeing, because Jaylen Brown is not healthy. He's just not healthy. And if he were, I think this series is a little bit different because he has a history of carrying the load for this basketball team, for the Celtics, and carrying Jayson Tatum. And in this case, he simply can't do it. There's too much weight on the bad knee. So we'll have to wait and see how he adjusts throughout the series. I don't think you generally don't get healthier as the season progresses and as the postseason progresses. So I think it's pretty much a done deal there. But yeah, man, I don't see them changing their style. I think they're going to do what they've done. I think Joe Mazzulla is very convicted in the way that he views the game, and he wants them taking 60+ threes a night. And there's going to be a couple nights in this series where they'll make some threes. There's going to be some nights where it happens, but sometimes these slumps, and that's what people don't understand about basketball. It's a rhythm sport, no matter how good you are at it. So sometimes these slumps that you see, like when Houston missed 27 straight threes against the Warriors years ago, and they lost that game and ultimately lost the series because of it. These things can carry on for a long time. Like, you can miss all those threes and you can think it's a chop to it being a bad night, but 3-point shooting is not something that everyone just does well. Like, it really is a rhythm type of thing. Shooting is about rhythm, no matter how good you are at it. Even for Steph, it is. He can struggle for days on end. So if there's something think they're going to jack up 63s every single night and stick to this formula that's worked for them for the most part, and they think that this slump can't continue long enough for them to lose this series and for it to slip out of their green hands, they're out of their minds. They could lose this series. And I think they're going to lose the series. I think the Knicks fully believe they can win. The Knicks play with the grittiness and toughness. They know who they are. They don't try to take shots that's outside of their profile. Guys who shouldn't shoot the ball from 3 aren't trying to shoot the ball from 3. Josh Hart's 3-point attempts are down. That's usually very good for the teams he's on. Like, they may not run any offensive sets, and Tibbs may not have a damn idea what he's doing offensively, but they stick around. They crash the offensive glass. Karl-Anthony Towns deserves a lot of credit for the game he played tonight and the game he played the night before. Like, he isn't trying to just jack up threes. He's getting to the glass and he's affecting the game. He's changing the game, by getting these offensive rebounds. He's giving the team what Hartenstein gave him, but he's more talented than Hartenstein. He is obviously far more talented. So he'll take that, and he'll knock down the occasional 3 or big shot, but he's at the rim, finishing using his physicality. I even saw him step in front of Jayson Tatum on a drive, and Jayson Tatum bounced right off of him. That's the toughness that we've been waiting for with Cat for a long time. And give Tibbs credit for that. He's got him playing a tough brand of basketball, and it's helping them win games. They win this series, they can go to the championships. They can go to the finals. Like, they could make a legitimate finals run. I'm not buying into that Pacers basketball team. I know we'll talk about it, but reluctantly I'll talk to you guys about it. But, Yeah, man. Like I think the Knicks are going to win the series and they're going to make a run to the finals. And I think like just from a pure basketball like standpoint, I don't know how you can be a basketball fan and not root for Jalen Brunson and what he's doing. I think he's that good. He's that great. He's such a great player down the stretch of games. He plays with a calm nature about him. His footwork is incredible getting down there. I've been down to the paint. There's nothing else to like. Touch around the rim, shot making, big shot making, decision making. It's all there. It's all there. He's exactly what kids should be watching if you want to talk about playing basketball the right way. So, nah, man. I mean, and I owe him an apology. I'll do this too. I owe Jalen Brunson an apology on this podcast because I came out and said he wasn't the best player in the last series. Kate wasn't ready to make me look right on that tape, right? Kate was not there. He wasn't ready. Jalen Brunson was clearly the best player in that series, and he's been the best player in this series so far too.
Speaking of the best player in the series, in February, Jayson Tatum had an article that came out that he was interviewed in, and he weighed in on the face of the NBA debate, and that conversation that was going around and it's still going around. His quote was, "I don't really want to insert myself in things that can be debated." Did he win a championship? Yes. Did he win gold medals? Yes. Was he first team All NBA? Those are things that are hard evidence. They can always debate, but it's like I check off all the boxes. Seeing his performance so far, what's your reaction and takes to him being a part of, forget the face of the league? What's your reaction to so far his playoff performance in this series specifically in regards of being top 10, top 15, wherever you have him in that conversation though? Not even the face of the league, but you're supposed to be top 10, top 15 player in the league, and a performance like this. I'll just throw this out here too. Specifically too, and we've talked about this in our chat, but I want y'all to touch on it for our listeners. Also his shot diet. We can't come at Jalen Green for his shot diet, who is on a plane to Cancun right now, literally. And Jayson Tatum, step back three with people my height guarding him. 6'10", and he's step back three.
He takes a lot of tough shots. Like, I was watching the game tonight, and they were trying to do, as they should, get Jalen Brunson in pick and roll, Karl Towns and the pick and roll, and get Tatum on a one-on-one island with them. And I mean, there were a couple drives where, yeah, he might have taken it to the basket, but a lot of times, instead of, continuing with the drive, he settled for a fadeaway 15, 20-footer. And he didn't really have a rhythm all night. I mean, he made some shots early in the game, but the jump shot, he hasn't really had rhythm this whole series. So seeing his shot and a guy that's like 6'9", 6'10", with handles and is as gifted as he is, you would think that he would be able to get to the cup with ease. But he almost settles for a tougher shot. He settles for a jump shot, something that I guess he's more comfortable with, even though, I mean, a guy that size with his athletic ability, he should be able to do whatever he wants on the court. He should be able to dictate whatever he wants on the court. And yet he always falls short with his shots, his percentages go down because of that, because he's not taking high percentage shots. He's taking very difficult jumpers. So, I mean, you're not Kevin Durant. We know that. But Tatum, you can be one of the best players in the league if you just maybe changed a couple things. And one of them is the type of shots you take.
I mean, look, obviously I've been on this podcast a million times and I've talked about his shot diet, and that's just refers to the shots these guys take on the floor, their tendencies, and where the spots they like to take their shots from. The best players of all time typically are the best players of all time because they're extremely efficient. That means you're getting shots at the rim, you're getting to the free throw line a lot. Jayson Tatum does not get to the free throw line nearly as much as a player with his physical build should. He's one of the best athletes on the planet. He's 6'8". He's got every gift God could give you from a physical standpoint. Strong. He's done a great job in the weight room, getting stronger throughout his career. There's no excuse. He fits all the metrics, all the things you look for from a guy who could be an all-time great player. He has all of it, right? I think he might even be 6'10", 6'11". He looks taller than 6'8", 6'9". And he doesn't go to the rim. And he has the ball handling ability to do it. He has the skill to do it. It's just not mentally there. It's not meant. It doesn't click for him mentally. I actually would argue that he was better. He was a better basketball player when he first got into the NBA, at least from a shot diet standpoint, the type of shots he was trying to take, because he was getting to the rim. He was getting to the mid-range. He was more efficient and played more loose back then before, he's gotten older in his career. Now I feel like he's just at a stage where I don't know if it's arrogance. I don't know if it's Missoula in his ear. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the analytics department of the Celtics telling him to jack up threes. I don't know. But you're not like, the reason why Steph Curry plays the way Steph Curry plays, and I think people have to understand this, is because Steph is 6'1" on a good day. So the best shot for him is oftentimes far away from the rim. He's not going to excel driving it into contact. Plus, you're not going to have a long career driving it into contact, driving it amongst the trees, falling over and over and over again. And if you don't believe me, look at the injury toll that has piled up on Kyrie Irving's body since he's gotten into the NBA, because that's the way he plays. Even though he's a great shooter and he's super skilled, the most skilled player I've ever seen, he's going to the rim all the time and getting just banged up, hitting the ground. All those falls, it's attrition. It just adds up over time, and eventually you get hurt. Eventually you crack a kneecap like you did in 2015. Eventually you tear an ACL. Eventually you things happen. Things happen. Break bones, whatever. So you can't look at the Steph Curry thing in a vacuum, and that's why I think when people say, "Oh, Steph Curry changed the game," yes, he did, but it's not for the better. Like, because not everyone can be that, and not everyone needs to be that. You don't need to be that way, and for a guy who looks up to Kobe Bryant, like Jayson Tatum does, for a guy who texts Kobe after he's long gone, saying, "Oh, don't worry, I got you," and like that, we saw well that age. For a guy who does something like that, he does not emulate Kobe in any way on the floor. He doesn't play he has no back to the basket game. He certainly doesn't utilize it. He doesn't go to the mid post. He doesn't rip and jab from the middle of the floor and attack the rim with his long wingspan and crazy athleticism. He plays away from the rim at the perimeter. And the truth of the matter is, you are not a good enough shooter to do that at this level. It's relative to this level, right? And so it's been tough to watch him play for a long time, man. I've been saying this, and if you were listening to the podcast and you're always here every week, you've heard me, you heard Tone, you heard Miles say the same thing about him forever. Like, it's been the same. So when you watch this team go out there and they're losing this series and he's not playing well and he's going 4 for 18 or whatever, and he's missing all these threes, I'm not surprised, because look at the shot chart. Nothing at the rim. You're not putting no pressure on the rim. Are you going to tell me that you can't get a step on Mikal Bridges, as great of a defender as Mikal Bridges is? You can't get a step on him? I don't believe you. I just think that you don't play the game in a smart way. And I'll say this is my final point about Jayson Tatum. There's a reason why Steve Kerr had him on the bench. Steve Kerr's one of the smartest basketball minds on the planet. Regardless of how you feel about him, he just simply is. He had him on the bench because he's not that smart. Steve Kerr is allergic to guys who are not smart on a basketball court. He is allergic to guys who do not have high basketball IQ. And a lot of basketball IQ is just understanding what shots to take and when to take them. And he has no concept of that at all. And that's why they're losing the series. And that's why they're going to lose the series. And by the way, they won a championship in spite of him last year. Jaylen Brown was incredible. And Jayson Tatum had played horrible and was small in big spots last year in that playoff run. Thank God they had a really good team around him that was able to help him get a championship. That's what that was. But for him to sit there in an interview and go, "Oh, well, I have all the credentials." Man, okay, Robert Horry has a bunch of rings too. I don't think he's my GOAT. So what are you talking about? You know it's not that simple about racking up accolades. What was your role in the accolades? It's like, "Oh, well, I scored 30 today." When did you score the points? Was the game in the balance, Or did you score it when the game was out of reach and it didn't matter anymore and defense was just playing dummy defense? People got to think a little bit. I'm sure we're gonna get some hate comments on this post too, but like I care. It's just the reality. If you understand the game, you understand that this stuff is true. That's all I'm saying.
I think it's only fitting to talk about the Celtics of the West and get your thoughts on this. The Timberwolves. Steph Curry goes out, hammy, at minimum supposed to be out for a week. They still lose game 1. I'm going to just throw out their last couple of games shooting from the 3-point, and then y'all could take it from there in regards of the Timberwolves. Game 1, 5 of 29, 17%. Game 5 of the Lakers series, 7 of 47, 14%. The Timberwolves. What level of concern do you have for them getting out of this series? And if they do, making it to the finals with how they've been playing and their shot diet?
They take a lot of threes for a team that doesn't really have that personnel. And this is so fitting for what this show's about. The NBA is in a bad place because you've got all these teams just jacking up threes left and right because they want to play the numbers game and play the analytics, right? It's the same. It's kind of like how analytics has affected baseball, right? Where like everyone wants to change their swing path and hit more home runs. It's not much different when you really think about it. Like it's the same thing. A three is like going for the home run. It's the same concept. And you're trying to get it every time down the floor. And some teams are built to do that. The Celtics are built to do it. It doesn't mean you should do it, though. And it's the same thing with the Timberwolves, right? Like, you're not built to do that. Julius Randle's on your team. Ant has done a great job making more threes and taking more threes and being intentional about it. But you can't live and die. As you can see, you can't live and die by that, Ant, because you are going to have some tough nights. With your build, your physical traits, you got to get downhill. You got to get to the free throw line. You got to live at the free throw line in a series like this, and then make for other people, and then your shot will start to fall. It's a rhythm game, right? Well, and run sets for them to get them easy looks, like slashing looks across the paint. But like they don't have the personnel. DiVincenzo obviously can shoot it, right? Conley can shoot it, but they're not like this great 3-point shooting team, and they cannot rely on that in a series like this. They need to be more intentional about getting easy looks more often. And these coaches are going to get themselves fired. Like you have to play to your team's strengths. And that's the one, again, I hate to circle back to where you were before because it's not about the Knicks, but give Tibbs credit at least on that. At least the team knows what they're good at and what they're not good at. It's why they're here. Give them that credit. They may not be offensive geniuses or offensively capable as coaches, but they understand what their team, what the team's strengths and weaknesses are. And that will get you a long way. That'll get you a very long way. Like, and that's what we're seeing with the Timberwolves is the opposite, right? They had a series where it was an anomaly. They shot out of their minds against the Lakers because everyone shoots out of their mind against the Lakers for whatever reason. And now they try to come out and play the same way. Bro, you ain't played in like 4 or 5 days. You had time off. It's hard to get game reps, playoff reps. You're not getting that in practice. To go walk into that and just to take and make 33s. That's hard. That's hard to do. You really got to be great defensively. You got to crash the glass offensively and defensively, and you got to be able to get easy looks as often as possible, which the Timberwolves don't do, which is why they lost.
I don't have nothing to add to that. I mean, you hit it on the nose. Like, Ant didn't really come out as aggressive as I wanted him to. And especially once you see Steph limping off the court, you would think, all right, let me turn it on a little bit. Let's get this game and maintain home court because Steph got hurt and they went into halftime up double digits. So that was already concerning. That are they not familiar that this is the conference semis? They've been here before and they should be ready for this team. Like, I'll give them credit. Like guys like Buddy Hield for the Warriors are stepping up, but like the Timberwolves are healthy. Like they don't have any excuses. You've got Naz Reid, Rudy's out there trying to do something. Randall, I would have liked Randall to play a little bit better in game one, but I mean, that's par of the course. Like last series was the first good series I've seen him play in the playoffs. So at some point, you don't want to say the expectation was he'd fall back down to this, but now you're playing a better team. Like Steve Kerr started Draymond Green on Julius Randle instead of putting him on Rudy or something like that, which is a pretty smart move because Draymond's your best defender. He's gonna get physical with a guy who, in the last series, was kind of getting whatever he wanted, getting to his spots. You can't let him get comfortable. He's one of the top 4 or 5 best players in this series. So um, the Timberwolves, they got to come out sort of like OKC is doing tonight and handle business in game two. Because you don't want to go back to, it's not Oracle anymore, whatever, San Francisco, wherever they're at now. You don't want to go back over there giving them a 2-0 lead. Then things can get really ugly. And then you start pressing, and you thought you saw a lot of threes in game one. I mean, they'll start chucking them in game three, too. So.
On the flip side, the Pacers. It seems like deja vu. Up 2-0, more than likely are headed to the Eastern Conference Finals. Evan Mobley's out. Garland is out. DeAndre Hunter is out. And as far as we know, specifically Garland, his injury, he more than likely we're not seeing him again unless they somehow make it to the finals with the injury that he's going through. Looking at that series, Pacers being up 2-0, is there any belief that they are real deal, that they are contenders to make it to the finals and maybe even win it?
I'd say no, because I don't know if they got like unlimited amount of voodoo dolls or something. Because every time a team plays them in the playoffs, guys go down. Like this is almost deja vu from last year, the Knicks series, where if we were healthy, we would have walked them out of the arena, but everybody got hurt. Flash forward to the first round, same thing. Dame gets hurt. I mean, that's basically it for Milwaukee. And now they're missing 3 guys. I think Donovan Mitchell got a little nicked up in game 2. I don't get it. Like the Pacers have some incredible luck when it comes to facing teams in the playoffs where I mean that's kind of what it is. You have to have a little luck, and sometimes injuries come at the worst time. I don't think they're for real though. Sure, Tyrese, not overrated. He's pretty solid when it comes down to it, and some of the big shots that he hits. I mean, come on, I got to give him credit. I know I've probably said on this before that he's overrated, but the kid's good. He's good. And for them to come into Cleveland and steal 2 games, that's perfect for them. Go back to Indiana, and play in front of that crowd. And I think this series kind of works for them because the Cavs, they're not really built to play at this sort of pace. Like they've got 2 7-footers there who work out mostly in the half-court game. And with Tyrese out there, they're pushing the pace. They're getting up and down. You got Nemhard who can push the pace. Pascal's running out. Obi, this is why you make a trade for Obi, because you guys want to play fast. You want to run and get easy opportunities for you guys. So if anything, this is the worst possible matchup for the Cavs because, sure, they played great in the regular season, but we've seen this before. Some of these guys don't really show up when it comes down to the postseason. I mean, I can't knock Darius Garland because he's been out. Mobley, sort of the same thing. I want to see what happens in game 3, but right now it's looking real bleak for the Cavs when, I mean, they had one of the best seasons in franchise history, over 60 games. They looked great in the first round, but I mean, the only one who's really shown up is Donovan Mitchell. And I mean, that's kind of expected. He's a primetime playoff performer. We saw it with the Jazz, even the last couple years with the Cavs. He did as much as he could possibly do, and it's just not enough. I don't know what else they need on this team, but yeah.
I mean, look, I don't know if someone's gonna follow, but think about this team and this series. Miles hit the nail on the head, obviously, right? Tyrese has played well and deserves credit, and obviously is not overrated. And he certainly was never the most overrated player in basketball. I think that idea was ridiculous. Rudy Gobert plays in the NBA, so what are we talking about? But um, I do think the Pacers have gotten luck on their side. I do think there's some luck here, and I don't know. People are not going to want to hear that, but they've been fortunate. I mean, the Cavs are banged up. They're playing a corpse of the Cavs organization right now with Garland. That's their engine being out, and then Mobley, the defensive player of the year, right, like level guy, being out too. That's a huge blow for that organization. And in a year where it looked like they could have done something special, injuries take it away from you, and that's what this thing comes down to. Sometimes it's just luck. And the Pacers have been on the right side of luck over the last couple of years. Last year, the Knicks series, everybody got hurt. So you're just playing Jalen Brunson and a bunch of nobodies, and Jalen Brunson gets hurt. Like that's what this boils down to sometimes. The Pacers obviously have to play who's in front of them. We don't hold that against them. You can't hold it against them, but it doesn't change the facts. It doesn't change the facts, and that's why I don't believe in this team as a series championship contender. Yeah, they're winning some games, they're having some fun. It's great, but they're not serious. They're not going to win the Eastern Conference Finals if they go see a healthy Knicks squad, or let alone a healthy Boston team. I think either one of those teams handles that team, right? They're going to beat them up, but they deserve credit, and I think that's the other part is it works both ways, and they deserve some credit for handling their business and not losing, because you still can lose even when things are stacked in your favor. You can not get the job done. So the Pacers deserve their credit, but am I particularly interested or excited in them and about them? No, I think they're doing what they're supposed to do under the circumstances, and they've drew some good hands over the last few years in the postseason, and it's as simple as that. I will say, Nemhard, hell of a basketball player. Hell of a I mean, when it's time for him to get paid, they won't be able to keep him there. He's going to get up out of there because he's going to get paid, and he is such a good basketball player. They have some really good basketball players on that team. Siakam's been a very good player for years now. You know, the TJ McConnell is a great role player, a guy you don't want to lose, a guy you want to be in your organization for as long as he possibly can be. He understands his role, like kind of what I'm talking about with Tibbs has kind of instilled in the Knicks. It's the same thing. Like, you just understand what you're good at, what you aren't good at, and you do what you're good at over and over again at a high level. And that's TJ McConnell. So give that guy credit. So they have the makings of a team that is legitimately very good. It's just, again, like, we'll never know. You're not playing these teams at full strength. So play what's in front of you, get the job done. But do I think they're serious as a championship contender? No.
Hey, not much disagreement over here from me concerning that one. But looking ahead, when we look at the Lakers offseason, for the Lakers, they have some questions that they have going into this offseason. Should LeBron opt in to his next contract, which would be around $52.4 million? And should the Lakers consult him for roster changes, roster upgrades, or should they be consulting solely Luka as the future?
How many players are they going to get today that are better than LeBron James? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're not going to consult him, if you want to take a pay cut, if you want to treat him like he isn't who he is, okay, fine. That's fine. Who are you going to get that's better? Are you going to go get Giannis? Like, who are you going to get that's better than LeBron James today? Like, so if you're sitting there in front of, listening to this in the car, you're running on a treadmill, you're scratching your head, you don't know Yeah, there's a reason why you're scratching your head and you don't know because there are not many guys in the world better at basketball than LeBron James, even at this age. So the Lakers should loop him into all decision making, all the decisions and everything, all the roster and personnel decisions. And you think about it too, like your championship window is now, like with LeBron and with Luka, and right, like this is it. Like you're trying to go all in for the championships. It's F them picks. You're moving guys. If you want to discuss an Austin Reeves trade, you discuss it. I am not on the side of an Austin Reeves trade because he has the best contract in basketball. You don't get that production from a guy getting paid that little. I'm sorry, $12 million a year, whatever it is, something along those lines. You're not getting that kind of production. So I'd still consider keeping him unless you're making a swing for the fences. A swing for the fences move is Giannis. And you'd use him as a centerpiece in that deal because Dallas was too stupid to get him from you in the first place. You make him pay for it, right? But yeah, you include LeBron James in that decision making process. Will they? I don't think so. They certainly haven't operated like a team that includes him in their decision making. And I'll tell you this too. David McMenamin came out and said flatly on Rich Eisen's show, he said, hey, LeBron didn't know about the Luka trade. People want to say he did. He did not know. He found out after it happened. JJ had a beat on it before the game. He knew. But Bron did not know. Making that kind of trade, not telling Bron once upon a time was crazy. I mean, he wouldn't be in your team the next year. This is different. He wants to live in LA. The Lakers are taking advantage of the fact that LeBron is comfortable and that his family's comfortable living in LA and that his family's made all these sacrifices for him. LeBron's making sacrifices for them and staying in LA and being around his family. That's fine. But don't get comfortable because Bron put that little Bron had his people put out that little report, and that was LeBron. That was totally LeBron manufactured. Oh, LeBron is not closed off the idea of finishing his career somewhere else. That's a Rich Paul. That's a Matt Carter situation right there, right? They're driving that, and it's because they want Rich or they want Rick Pelinka. But they want Rob Pelinka, to understand. Yo, like we're not playing, man. Like this is unacceptable. We have no rebounding in the playoffs. We have guys that aren't making shots in the playoffs. I'm 40. I'm falling apart right now. Giving you guys everything I have, still playing, and I'm the best defender on the floor at 40. What are we doing? We're not serious. So this is the biggest offseason for the Lakers in the past decade, easily. This is huge. They have to make a swing for the fences. They have to go for it. Next year, we have to walk into next season with the utmost confidence that they are a favorite for the NBA Finals, NBA championship. We have to feel that way about them. If we don't, heads won't roll because Jeannie loves her some Pelinka, and she even promoted him. But figuratively, they will because you'll walk away from this thing with disappointment because there should be 2 championships in LeBron tenure as a Laker. There should be. We'll just have to see if that happens. And Luka, that's a whole different conversation. We won't go there right now.
I'm curious. I feel like they'll consult Luka more so than
They will.
LeBron because, I mean, he's the future. This is the guy that you made a move for. Clearly, you don't make that move unless you're planning to have this guy here for the next 10, 15 years. And sure, shout out to Pelinka for scamming the Mavs out of that trade. I mean, most people wouldn't do that trade, but now you got to build the team around a different beast. Like Luka's not AD in the sense that he doesn't play defense. You don't have a guy who's out there who can play defense. So how'd the Mavs do it the year before, which Nico gets a lot of flack, but he should get a lot of credit for taking that team to the finals with some of the moves he made, getting PJ Washington in there, making a trade for Daniel Gafford. All these guys are guys you can surround around Luka who open up the floor, and they got his back when somebody's blowing past his. So, I mean, it's going to be a tough offseason for the Lakers. I mean, they got to keep cap space open for whenever they do offer something for Luka. And then they don't really have any picks. So, sure, a Giannis thing, that they're going to talk about that as a possible option. But what can they give for Giannis? Like, you're not trading LeBron, and you're definitely not trading Luka. So then Reeves would be in the talks for a Giannis. And with what picks? Like, I don't see it as a realistic option, but I'm sure they'll spend the whole offseason mulling it and talking about it, but get some bigs for him. Maybe if some of these other teams are selling off pieces, like I know I don't think you guys like Jaren Jackson, but if he were available, I mean, a defensive big like that who can stretch the floor, sure, he doesn't rebound, but defensively, that helps tremendously for this team.
Me personally, keep Jaren Jackson as far away from the Lakers facility unless it's a game that Memphis is coming to town. Keep him as far away from the facility. I don't want to see Jaren Jackson Jr. in a Lakers uniform. Low key, don't want to see him in a uniform ever again. Almost 7 feet tall, and he's never averaged 8 rebounds in his career. He's never averaged 10 rebounds in his career. Seeing what he did in the playoffs, I think they need to rescind and take away his DPOY. No way in the world that man should have won a DPOY on 5 rebounds again. That's don't make a lick of sense. We got some first timers that could possibly get a ring. We heard Aaron Gordon say he's doing all of this to try to get Russ a ring. Who would you want to see get their first ring? Russ, Jimmy, Jalen Brunson, SGA?
I mean, I'll give it to. Selfishly, I would say Brunson, for obvious reasons. But it would be nice to see Russ after all this time get a ring. A guy who's had many great years in the league, but it feels like he catches some of the most heat out of anybody down the stretch of their career. People ready to write him off, send him to Azkaban and wherever else to finish off his days. But
it's earned.
It's earned. I mean,
he earned it. He earned the criticism. It's okay though. It's all right. It's all right.
No, sure, he earned criticism. He's not at fault. He's at fault here too. But I feel like seeing Russ, and I mean, nobody's maximized their potential more than a guy like that who, I mean, won an MVP just off the strength of hard work and hustle. Like, he's made a career off of just hustling. And sure, he's not the best shooter, but even now, watching him hustle and flip a whole series like he did against the Clippers, it'd be cool to see him get a ring and be appreciated. So, like, I hear where Aaron Gordon's coming from. Like, I'm trying to get Russ a ring. I feel that because a lot of people, they were ready to write him off. I don't know if he had many other options besides Denver in the offseason, but he's made an impact for Denver. It'll be interesting to see how big of an impact he makes in this series, but for sure, I'd like to see Russ. But Jalen Brunson, that's another easy one.
Yeah, the answer, in my opinion, is you can go a lot of ways. I mean, Jimmy's got fans, and Jimmy's had a great career, and Jimmy would deserve to win one. I think all these guys are deserving. If you're asking me who I would like to see get a championship, I'm gonna go with Jalen Brunson myself too. I think a championship for that guy and what he's made of his career, being basically an afterthought in the NBA draft. No one really thought he'd be that good. Starting out slow in his career, not really, having his coming out party as an NBA superstar until year 4 or 5 of his career, right? Like that guy winning a championship and then doing it here, it's extra, right? Like it's like winning 2. It has the gravity that the LeBron championship has. It's not like that LeBron ring in Cleveland has, because you do it because of where you're doing it and the significance of it to that city. That's like winning 2. It's a big deal. So I'd love to see him do it. I'm not a Knicks fan, obviously, but I'm rooting for him. I really am. There's as a guy who loves basketball, I don't see how you could not love everything that guy's about. Everything he's about. He's a special player. So no, I think that's my guy. I think I'd go with him, and I hope he can pull it off, but I think it's clear cut to me why, right? Like, and maybe to someone who doesn't live in New York City, it sounds like I'm saying a whole bunch of nonsense. Like, what do you mean to do it here? You got to be here to know it. Like, it's different when the Knicks are good here. It's different. The city buzzes, and you kind of feel it even living in the tri-state. It's just everywhere. You can understand why they're the historic franchise. So, in spite of the recent history not being friendly to them, this is an opportunity, and you want to let these opportunities pass you up, right? You have an opportunity to get a step on the Celtics. They're not healthy. You beat them. That's what you're supposed to do. That's all the Pacers have done. That's all they've done. Don't let them stumble into the finals, because that's what they'll do. They just beat the team. They beat you and they're supposed to beat you. And then, like, if there's an opportunity, they don't let it fly pass by. They deserve credit for that. And so it's the same thing with this Knicks team, and same thing with Jalen Brunson. But Jalen Brunson is such a special player and deserves to be looked at in an all-time light. And I think the championship will do that for him.
Let me add one more thing. I just want to be able to see Becky Hammond eat her words about him not being a 1A tier player, because I think he is. Sure, you can knock him for his size and all that stuff, but he just knows how to win, man. Like,
can we be honest about that? What she said though, she just said that because she had not watched any Jalen Brunson to that point. She was not familiar with his game. It was so clear she went on there from a casual standpoint and just said that just because she was on TV. She had. If you asked her anytime she'd watch Jalen Brunson, when he gave her True Serum, she'd tell you maybe twice. I don't know. It just seemed like such a ridiculous thing to say to me. He's clearly a superstar. Maybe at that point too, he was awesome. It was like that was like the breakout year in New York, right? That he said that. But
and now I feel like he's just taking it to a whole nother level where fourth quarter, you already know what time it is. Like, once he subs back in and makes a couple shots, it's like, oh shoot, here we go again. Brunson coming down in the fourth quarter, Mr. Clutch. So, yeah, I just want to see him get one. That's it. One, same with like Aaron Judge. I just want to see him get one, because these guys are too great and too special players to spend their whole or a part of their career in New York and not win one.
So, just throw this stat out here for those that did not know or weren't aware of it. Jalen Brunson is the all-time leader in regards of point differential from regular season to the playoffs. He has about a 6.4 increase in his points once the playoff time hits. So obviously Jalen Brunson is a big time performer, one of the best when it comes to the playoffs. Little bracket real quick for all time playoff performers. Just speaking on the wings and some of the guards. We ain't talking about Shaq and Kareem and Wilt. MJ, Jimmy Butler, who advances?
MJ.
Michael?
KD, Paul Pierce.
I'd say Paul Pierce.
Yeah, actually, I don't think this is not even close. People aren't gonna like that. I think it is Paul Pierce.
Bird, Reggie Miller.
Bird. Reggie had good moments, but
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I go Bird there.
Kobe, Brunson.
I'll say Kobe.
That's a tough draw. Yeah, you're gonna have to give it to Kobe. Kobe's got all the accolades and he's done it. Yeah, it's Kobe.
I was doing a bracket. It's nowhere that I could put Brunson where he wins a matchup.
Damn.
it's nowhere I could put Brunson where he wins a matchup, bro. Like, when I go through some of these names,
he's just got here. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm giving him love because he's been balling since he's been in New York in the playoffs specifically. But it was no match I could find for Brunson to win. Bron, Kawhi.
Bron.
Yeah, Bron.
Bron. That took too long.
Steph, D Wade.
D Wade.
Yeah. I think D Wade is probably the answer there. I really do believe that. Yeah.
Magic, Luka.
Magic for sure.
Zeke, Spider.
Zeke.
Yeah.
Maybe I should have did Spider against Jalen Brunson.
Yeah.
Maybe Spider versus Jalen Brunson. Do you got Jalen Brunson winning as the better playoff performer?
I'd still say Jalen Brunson.
Yeah, I'd say Jalen in that matchup too. I think so. Donovan has some great moments, but Donovan's had great moments, but it hasn't translated to wins. And like winning conference finals and finals trips and everything. So yeah, Jalen.
All right, next round we got MJ, Paul Pierce. I'm guessing MJ.
Yeah, MJ.
Yeah, MJ.
Bird, Kobe.
He's MJ now, not Michael.
Yeah, even Michael. I just might say his own name. Ball headed ass.
Bird or Kobe?
Kobe. I'll go Kobe.
All right, we got Bron versus D Wade.
Bron.
Magic versus Isaiah Thomas.
Magic.
Yeah, Magic. Yeah.
All right, so then that final round we got set up is MJ against Kobe.
I'm gonna say MJ.
Bron versus Magic.
Bron.
Oof.
It's actually it's not like a blowout though. Like I said, Bron quick, but it's not a blowout. Magic was awesome in the postseason. But Bron's done some incredible things, and Bron deserves that. It deserves that love.
Yeah.
So when we talk about all-time playoff performers, guards and wings, who is the better playoff performer, MJ or Bron?
I know it always comes down to this debate. It's so funny.
Two best players of all time.
Yeah. Honestly,
look, I know what I'm gonna say. I know where I'm going. I'm gonna tell you is my LeBron James.
I'm gonna say LeBron James.
I'm gonna say LeBron James. And by the way, the differentiating factor is not just the clutch numbers, which are very clear in everybody's face if you want to look at it. Most people don't. LeBron's one of the most clutch players of all time by the numbers, and more clutch than Kobe and I believe Michael in last minute shots. But it's not just that; it's like that championship he won in Cleveland, 2016. Yeah, that championship, that doesn't happen. Like that is as clutch gets. It's the definition. It's legacy defining. It could have been his only championship, and we would talk about it forever. It's one of the greatest final series ever, and they came back down from 3-1, and on his back as well as Kyrie's. That's on his back, right? And he made the game-saving play in Game 7, the defensive play to win the game. He dominated the series, led the team in every statistical category as well. I'm sorry, man. Like I think he's more clutch than Michael Jordan. I think Michael Jordan played on a great team, and he was a great player, and played at a time where it was favorable for him to play. It was great, and people will hate to say that. Hey, look, man, Michael Jordan's great, but it's Bron for me.
Anything you want to add to that, Miles? Because I know you've seen personally, like firsthand, MJ's playoff performances against the Knicks.
Maybe not personally. Maybe I did see him, but it was just put the baby in the cradle and let him rock to sleep in front of that game. But I'd say Bron, just because I also feel like that 2016 championship is worth more than one. Like him coming back home, him going against one of the greatest teams. I mean, 73 wins. You can't say enough about that team. Coming back from 3-1 to win a championship. And then some of the moments after that where Kyrie leaves or Kevin Love's hurt and he's leading these teams still with Jeff Green and the ghost of Anderson Varejao to championships. That's really impressive for him to dominate a conference for as long as he did. I mean, there's so many guys who borderline Hall of Famers that maybe if they win a ring, they're probably in, that he just dismantled in the playoffs. So, I mean, same goes for MJ, but I just think I rock with Bron's playoff runs and performances more.
Hey, so a team that they, as of late, probably in the last decade or so, they don't have any of the playoff success that Bron has had. They don't have any players that have big playoffs at all. Probably in the last decade, maybe 15 years. It's been since probably about the 90s when Jordan was doing his thing that they've had true playoff success, that they've had Super Bowl wins. And if you haven't caught on yet, I'm talking about none other than the Dallas Cowboys. First off, shout out to Coach Matt. He personally asked, what was our reactions to this trade? For those who might have missed it, the Steelers got 2026 third round pick, 2027 fifth round pick, and the Cowboys got George Pickens, 2026 sixth round pick to pair up with Dak Prescott and CD Lamb. What are your reactions to this trade? How you view it for both sides, Cowboys and Steelers?
I just wonder how he's gonna mesh with the locker room, the other receivers. Like, I know on Pittsburgh, he saw himself as the guy. Like, I'm the best guy on this team, best receiver, throw me the ball. But now you're going to a team where they got that guy already. Now you got to play the second fiddle, the guy who you're probably taking more deep routes than anything, which he's really good at. Throw it deep, he can go up and get it. And then for the Cowboys, I mean, you make this move, but are you going to re-sign him after this? Do you try to work a deal in there now, or do you wait? They got so many question marks that some of their moves are just confusing a little bit.
On that part, George Pickens did come out today, probably about an hour ago, and said that he doesn't want to try to do a new contract. He wants to prove himself. So,
of course. I mean, he's got to prove himself to all 32 that he could possibly deserve some top dollar wide receiver money, which he's not taking any discounts. If you know this guy, he's not taking any discounts to stay in Dallas or whatever. It's the best number 2 Dak's had probably in his Cowboys career, though. I mean, talent-wise, Pickens, if he could, focus and get his head on straight on the field, that guy is really good. So it's a gamble worth taking. But I just feel like it doesn't really make that big of an impact on the Cowboys. Like, they're missing a lot on the offensive line with retirements and guys leaving. So sure, go out and get a hot-headed wide receiver. I mean, it worked when you got T.O., but T.O. is a little different. So,
I mean, it's a good trade for the Cowboys. It's a good risk to take. We talk about contracts with George Pickens. I don't think George Pickens' problem is on the field; it gets off the field, and it's him not being a jackass. And so long as he can do that for a long enough period of time, it'll give teams some ease about paying him big dollars and investing in him and having him be a part of the franchise for a long time. Talent is theirs, and so long as he stays healthy, playing with the better quarterback and Dak Prescott than he's ever had in his entire career, he's gonna do great with the good O-line and all that good stuff, right? That offense is explosive. They're always explosive. They're gonna continue to be explosive this year with him, and he should be thanking God that he got out of Pittsburgh. He's in a much better situation for him to maximize his ability and show his talent, and leave Arthur Smith. It's not even about Russell Wilson, who's not nearly as good as Dak Prescott is, but it's about Arthur Smith and his ridiculous offense that they run over there. All right, so Cowboys, that's not even an interesting part of this trade. It's the process and how the Steelers got here. It's how Mike Tomlin sits up on a high horse and tells folks that he does not shy away from coaching. Well, if you don't shy away from coaching, then coaching that young man is a guy you probably want to coach because he's going to help you keep your job. He's going to help you put a lot of points on the board offensively. The Steelers are inept. The Steelers are inept. It's really embarrassing. They may win. We talk about the 500 streak with them and how many years they've never been on the 500. And it's how it's good, but it's a curse because you can't ever really get a high enough pick to get a quarterback, and trading up for a quarterback is damn near impossible in this day and age, as we've seen. Fine. Now you add to that draft class with George Pickens is a joke. It's like the Kenny Pickett class, right? He's in that class, and most of those guys didn't pan out, right? And then in addition to that factor, you have to look at that. You have to think about the fact that the offense is just taking a big step back. You added DK Metcalf, who's not a technical route runner any stretch of imagination. You still don't have a quarterback answer. You drafted Will Howard. We'll see if that works out for you. I'm not a believer in that at all. Okay, then you're waiting on Aaron Rodgers to make a decision to come play for you. Aaron Rodgers is in no rush, and the real reason Aaron Rodgers is full of it. Let's be very honest. Aaron Rodgers is not making a decision quickly because Aaron Rodgers does not want to play for you. Aaron Rodgers is hoping that the Vikings are like, they watch JJ McCarthy and they're like, yeah, we have a window to win. Let's get him over here. He wants to play in a dome. He wants to play in the AFC North because of familiarity, play against the Packers and all those teams. We all know where he wants to be. The fact that he hasn't signed on that dotted line at this point just tells you he's waiting and hoping. He's going to wait into camp before he signs because he wants to see what the Vikings are going to do. And I'm sure he's maintaining communication with the Vikings. I'm sure that communication is not dead, right? Which is probably a red flag for McCarthy, who drafted with the top 10 pick, by the way. That's not a good sign. That's ridiculous. But that's neither here nor there. The Steelers, I think we're at a stage where someone has to lose their job. I really believe that, whether it's the GM making decisions, whether it's Tomlin, I think they're running out of time here because you've had a championship window with that championship level defense for too long to not have made good on that and to not have cashed in and to be in a Super Bowl, to be in that hunt, to be a team that we really feel like can win a championship. We never feel that way about the Steelers. We never do. And I'll say it recently, and it feels like a long time ago since they've been a serious Super Bowl contender. But I would rather be where the Giants are. I'd rather be really, really bad and just take cracks at top picks every year and add talent. It sucks, but I'd rather do that than be just good enough to be respected, but not be good enough to win a championship. That gets you nothing. You have mid-round picks. You're not hitting on them. They didn't take a swing at Jackson Dart. Why not? What if Jackson Dart's really good? How are you going to look? What if the Giants play Jackson Dart and he's really, really good? Who's getting fired for that? Fire the GM over there. Tomlin's going to be the first one to get that axe over there. And we're getting to a point where I can call them purely inept as an organization. It's a joke. And you know what? I think Steelers fans can agree with me. I know they feel some kind of way about not getting Shedeur Sanders. I'm not even in that boat. I'm just telling you, you hired Arthur Smith. He runs this BS offense that didn't work in Atlanta, and you brought him here, and it didn't work with you, and you still kept him. And before that, you had a Haley before that, and it was BS then too, right? So when is it going to change? When are you guys going to understand that we're in the 24th century and we need to run offenses, right? We need to run offenses that actually are capable and can put up points and you run concepts that work and allow your quarterback to even change plays at the line of scrimmage. That stuff is crazy to me, man. So letting go of an offensive talent like George Pickens under these circumstances, when you didn't have a leg to stand on, is crazy to me. And who knows? Maybe Roman Wilson's really good, and he gets a chance to play, and he's really, really good. The receiver from Michigan a couple of years ago, fine, but it doesn't change the fact that you have no one to throw the ball to him. So it's just a bad look.
I've seen Ryan Clark come out, other Steelers players defending this trade and defending Mike Tomlin, but if you're not running away from coaching, you're not running away from leading men, as he said, let's not flip it and talk about, Mike Tomlin never runs away from coaching, so George Pickens must have been just that bad in the locker room and he won't have any success anywhere else. I don't think Mike Tomlin is completely like, he don't got no blood on his hands and what's had happened over the last decade regarding the Steelers. He at some point is going to have some accountability and be held to a standard at some point. It's cute, 9-8, 10-7, and there's no actual playoff success. So I think he at some point, whether it's this upcoming season or the following season, he got some questions to be answered. And like you said, Jackson Dart, what if he plays well? What if Shedeur plays well? What if Dylan Gabriel gets cut and plays well somewhere else? There are quarterbacks that you decided not to pick up as the Steelers, and you end up in the 5th or 6th round, you suddenly, oh yeah, we should get a quarterback. It was an afterthought for y'all. The Steelers, who hasn't had a quarterback since Big Ben. It was an afterthought. Y'all wanted to wait till the 6th round, 7th round to draft a quarterback because y'all waiting for Aaron Rodgers, and it's obvious. Everybody sees it. It's the same thing. It's the person that you asked them to the prom in January. Prom is in July. Prom is in May. Whenever it is, and they ain't give you an answer yet. They waiting for somebody else. Aaron Rodgers is waiting for the chick that he really wants.
Yes.
Aaron Rodgers is waiting for the girl he really wants. You the backup plan. He don't want to go to the Steelers. You the ugly side piece chick that is like, all right, I guess so I could go with somebody. So I'm not alone. I guess I get one more contract. I'll sign with the Steelers. I don't want to. And y'all so desperate and stupid, y'all waiting. So desperate and stupid, y'all waiting. And it's going to be so funny because let JJ McCarthy struggle. Steelers going to be calling Miles to play quarterback.
What if Aaron Rodgers waits until week 1, week 2, week 3? He might do that. He's crazy. He might wait that long. And then sign with the Vikings then. Like, they are really they're past the point where you can say they're playing with fire. They are they're operating like a stupid organization. Just the bottom line. They're incapable of making good decisions on the offensive side of the football. And it's the reason why they should have won. They should have won another championship in this window. They should have done with a player like JJ Watt on that roster, with that defense, with that line, with Cam Hayward. They should have done more. And someone's gonna get the blame for it. And we know the way America works. Mike Tomlin, black ass, won't get the blame for it. It only goes so far. So it's a shame. It's a shame, but they have no one to blame but themselves. They have no one. And maybe you're smarter than everybody else in the room, and Will Howard is really, really good at football. Maybe you're right. I'm gonna bet the under on that. I'm gonna bet the under. You had opportunities to take other guys, and you didn't do it. And so we'll see how it works out.
I'm gonna bet the under on that as well. But somebody that you mentioned them, playing with fire. There's a couple of players and teams that are on fire to start off this MLB season, ending off Aaron Judge, number 1 in batting average. Batting average is 400. 12 homers, number 1. Aaron Judge has 34 RBIs, number 1. 56 hits, number 1. What's the takeaway from Aaron Judge? Hot star and hasn't cooled down yet.
I mean, he's just a really good hitter. At this point, he's turned himself into more than just a power hitter. He's an all-around great hitter. So, like I said, most complete hitter in the game, best hitter in the game. I mean, honestly, he's the best player in the game. I mean, that's his title until Ohtani throws a pitch again, which who knows when that'll be. That might never happen. But, Aaron Judge, 400, and we're almost 6 weeks into the season, 7 weeks into the season. I don't even know what to say about this guy anymore. Like, he's that good. Future Hall of Famer, get another MVP, yada yada. But again, he's got to win. Got to win. I'm saying that for Greg though. He's got to win a championship for me to respect the numbers. Okay.
Okay.
Hey, Greg.
Yeah, all right.
You could chime in on Aaron Judge if you want, but we have to talk about the Mets. You said it before the season even started that the pitching staff, the rotation, you called it, was going to be legit. It was going to be one of the best in the league. Miles is eye rolling for those that are listening on the podcast
because
and can't see it. 23 wins, which is number 2 in MLB right now. Number 1 still in ERA. They are 3rd in strikeouts with 338. Takeaways so far from the Mets, hot start pitching wise, and also, is this something that you think for the entirety of this long behind season is actually something sustainable?
Yeah, I do. I said it, and if you watch the Mets or pay attention to the Mets, you understand that the pitching coach and the pitching staff and they're some of the best coaches in the sport. I don't think there's a team that's a better pitching staff, right, in terms of the coaches, right, the support staff that work with these pitchers every single day than the Mets, and it starts with Hefner. And so I said that before the season started. I specifically mentioned him. I knew that they'd be really good. They got Griffin Canning, for crying out loud, pitching like he's a Cy Young guy, winning his first 6 starts because they just told him, hey, stop. You know that pitch you're not really good at throwing, just stop throwing it. And he stopped throwing it, and now it worked out. Senga's doing well. Manaya's not even back yet. They don't have the other guy, Montes. They don't have him back yet. Like, man, and they've got young arms up and coming in the minor league system. So I'm not surprised by any of this. I said it. I knew they were one of the best teams in baseball. It's about making sure you can survive the dog days of summer and continue to play well and maintain the lead in the NL East. Stay away from the Phillies and all that good stuff. But I think we're the best team in the NL East. I think we're certainly one of the best teams in the NL all overall, and I think we can compete with the Dodgers. I don't think the Dodgers should scare the Mets. I don't feel that way. I think the Mets can still have trade chips. They still can make a move at the deadline if they really want to put this thing over the top. They absolutely can. Will they? We'll see. But Alonso's been amazing. Soto, don't look now. He's slashing 300 over the last 6 or 7 games, and he hit 2 home runs today. And every time he hits a home run, he hits the second one in the same game. He's gonna finish with the 40 home runs this year. He's gonna do what Juan Soto does. He's gonna do that. It's just him. That's who he is. So it's all right. Like at the end of the day, I would rather be in a position where I can win a championship than anything else. And the Mets can win a championship this year, and not just this year, but for years to come. And that's where you want to be as an organization. You should be in. I'm in euphoria as a Mets fan. This is legitimate and it's sustainable. That's the best part. It's sustainable. So I love this team and I love where we at. Nothing really else to talk about.
Looking at the Mets and their organization for everything that you just mentioned, like I said, the farm system, the young arms, an owner that is willing and able to spend whatever amount is needed to make sure we optimize at many cracks at trying to become a World Series champ. And the only way that happens is you stay ready, so you ain't got to get ready. Bench Mob, we out. Peace.
Peace.